Remember when we started this podcast, what was the one thing that we said we would never, ever do?
I will never forget it. We were in our first production meeting.
Yeah.
And someone mentioned steaming our vaginas. Was it you?
Of course it was me.
And I was like, forget it. Never going to happen.
What do you think we're doing for this week's practice?
Oh, well, I know it because I've done it.
We're steaming our vaginas. Ever tried this before?
It wasn't even until about a year ago.
Yeah.
I'd never even heard of it.
Okay.
And the only reason I've heard of it is because some crazy, wonderful doula lady came into my life.
But I've been in doula world for 13 years and vag steaming is a real hippie doula speciality.
Yeah.
I'd say it's like a trademark.
Well, it's not in the women's coaching world or the hairdressing world, just so you know.
It's in doula world, but it is something that I would always say like, well, I am a doula, but you know, I'm not like a vag steaming, plait your own armpit hair kind of doula. But apparently now I am.
So is that the next self-care? We're plaiting our armpit. I've been lasered. It's going to be a bit tricky.
We could get
an extension.
Did you have any preconceptions?
I had about 63,000 preconceptions, funnily enough. Yeah, I did. It was I can't do this. I don't want to do this. Well, like, why am I doing this? It was on a constant loop.
Okay. Well, Nicole, please share your week with us.
So Lauren tells me that we're doing vaginal steaming this week. That's our practice. She hands me a pack of herbs with a leaflet and tells me nothing else. Nothing else, not what it's for, why it's good for you, what the point of it is, just the fact that I'm just supposed to go and steam my vagina, do it the day before your period. That was all the instructions that my doula friend has given me. So I'm having a look through it. I mean, I actually Googled last night the benefits of vaginal steaming, and I thought to myself, and I actually texted her saying, I never thought in a million years that I would be Googling the benefits of vaginal steaming.
Yeah.
I hope that my kids don't check my history.
I think it's fine if they do.
Do you?
Yeah.
Let's hear the next one.
Okay.
So I'm steaming the herbs, okay? I'm stood in my kitchen, actually giving these bad boys a steam. You take a handful out, you steam it for about 15 to 20 minutes, then apparently you're good to go. Then you stick the bowl in the toilet, you take all your underwear off, and you sit on the loo. And apparently it's supposed to be quite pleasant, and you can catch up with your emails or meditate. I'm actually going to try and meditate. I've had to wait till the house is empty, which is not easy during lockdown because my husband works from home. So I actually have an empty house, which is lucky because no one needs to be walking in because no one gives me privacy on the loo, obviously. And I really, really do not need my husband or my daughters, especially my daughters, asking any sorts of awkward questions.
Yes. I'm raising women. You know, do I need them steaming their vaginas after all of this information?
I mean, let's see what it did for you and maybe you'd be recommending it to your daughters.
You know when you go into like a shop that's trying to sell a really expensive candle and there's this amazing aroma? That is what this smells like. The smell is really, really lovely. I feel like I've walked into Joe Malone or Anthropology or shops that I don't tend to shop in. So the smell is encouraging. It's making me not want to steam my vagina, by the way, but it is, I don't know what it is. It's just a nice smell. Let's just leave it there for now.
So how was it?
Of course I did it.
How was it?
What did I do? Well, it was fine. I sat on the loo.
Yeah.
I had the bowl underneath me.
Yeah.
I had a blanket over me. I followed instruction.
How did it feel?
It felt warm.
Yeah.
It was a little bit uncomfortable because I don't normally sit on the loo for that long.
Yeah.
That's a man's job.
Yeah.
And it was warm. The smell was amazing.
It did smell gorgeous.
It smelled like I'd walked into a Joe Malone shop.
Yeah.
Or
that was the rose.
Oh, it was
and
beautiful.
The yeah.
And my whole house smelled of it.
Imagine how your ninny smelled. Like a flower.
Yeah, but
like a cleansed,
so I sat there.
fragrant flower.
I sat there a little bit stressed about not doing a poo.
Yeah.
A little bit stressed about not weeing in the bowl.
Yes.
A little bit wondering what my life has come to.
Yes.
There is that.
There is definitely that, yeah.
And then I got off the bowl
Yeah.
after I did 25 minutes. I got
Wow.
off the bowl.
Yeah.
I put my knickers and bottoms back on, and I got on with my life.
Okay.
And I can't say that I experienced this feeling of being very connected to my sacred feminine or being empowered because I was suddenly so in tune with my vulva. I thought that was a bit of bollocks. And I just thought this has not made any mark on my life. Then I started bleeding immediately.
Immediately?
Within about 15 minutes.
And when was your period due?
The next day.
Okay. That's quite interesting, yeah?
So I bled immediately. And how much detail do you want me to get?
I want all the deets.
It's all right if women are listening.
Well, they are.
No, but
apart from Tony, your dad, there are no men listening to
well,
this
there is
podcast.
because
Who?
Charlie, our producer.
Oh, our producer. But listen, he just has to get down with it.
Well,
sorry, Charlie.
Should we just tell Charlie to avoid this one? He
Charlie-
said he's going to be involved in this edit.
Right, Charlie, put some moon cups in your ears for this part of the broadcast.
The blood was very red.
So you mean you didn't have spotting? You just went straight into
I
full period?
always have spotting
Yeah.
anyway for a few days before my period.
Yeah.
So I generally can tell when I'm going to get my
Yeah.
period. So I did it the day before. But this was like a heavy bleed and it was very, very red. It was a different colour.
I find that quite interesting.
Because?
Well, because as stated, one has a closed cervix at the top of the vagina, unless you're 10 centimetres dilated and about to push a baby out of it. So how can a little bit of sitting over a pot of steam cause anything to happen in your uterus? But clearly it did. So I find that interesting.
But then I didn't bleed the next day.
Oh.
Yeah. And then it took another couple of days for my period to come in. And then it came in thick and fast. It was a very heavy period. It was a very painful period. One night, my husband had to make me multiple hot water bottles. I never have a hot water bottle. And I didn't feel great, actually. It was a really, one of those unpleasant periods that you have and you feel a bit wiped out after.
Well, interesting. When you hear my recording, you will know why I'm saying that. Afternoon. So I'm cooking at the stove. Yeah, want to have a look? What are you cooking, Lauren? What are you steaming? Herbs for the vag. Brew for your bits, to be exact. So this is a brew for your bits vag steam with lavender, calendula, rose and chamomile. Got my 14-year-old standing next to me making pasta. He wants to die in a ditch right now. He's just absolutely mortified. So in it goes. Ooh, very pretty. A little look in the pan. And we're going to simmer these for 15 minutes. Thursday lunchtime. What's cooking? This is what's cooking. Vaginal steaming herbs. Mortified teenager. So these have got to brew for 15 minutes and then we're taking them upstairs. Here is my loo with the bowl of herbs in. Here is a Waitrose magazine to keep me occupied. And if you think that I'm videoing myself steaming my vagina, you have another thing coming. So see you later.
Okay, so that was your steaming experience.
That was my steaming experience.
And after that?
Well, as I said, warm and damp. Just damp.
Yep.
I'm sure it all was beautiful down there, but whatevs. It was warm and damp. Put my knickers on, put my tracksuit bottoms back on, trucked on with my day.
Yeah.
Then the next day, got my period.
Yeah, but did you do it the day before your period?
It wasn't supposed to be the day before my period. My periods are pretty regular as clockwork,
right?
Unless a woman goes.
So when
into
did you do
labour.
it in your cycle?
Did it on day 23.
You did it quite a few days earlier.
Yeah,
because
I didn't know the precise day it would come. I also didn't want to do it like yesterday, knowing that we were recording today, because I wanted to be able to write everything down. So I thought I'll just get it done. Lo and behold, my period arrived the next day.
Proper period.
Proper period. And like you, a really horrendous one. I don't normally have to take anything. I had to take ibuprofen, paracetamol.
Interesting.
Felt like shit.
Did you notice the difference in the colour of the blood?
It just really came on suddenly. Like very
so
suddenly.
No. So no.
Well, no. I
As in, was the colour? Was it like a deeper red? Mine was not the same colour.
I didn't actually notice.
Okay,
to be
then
honest,
maybe it wasn't.
But it was not fun. It was not a fun couple of days.
No, neither was mine.
No one in my house would ever notice if I have my period or don't. But Ollie was like, "Are you all right? You don't look like you're all right. You're really pale." I was like, "I'm actually really not all right. I'm having a bit of a shock."
But is that because we were both aware that we've done a steam, or
I mean,
or I could have had that period anyway? I don't know.
That's some serious placebo to like have an idea in
Yeah.
your head it could bring on a bleed and then it happens, because I was like 3-4 days early.